Hey everyone, Sigarm here. In today's First Steps episode, we will talk about resources, their importance, where to get them and where to spend them. I will also introduce you to the villager management system and its code of villages, a feature with many perks in Age of Empires Mobile. Resources are the core of the game, and understanding how to get them and track them will allow us to manage our citadel better and progress with more ease in the game. If you're new to the game and want to know everything about resources, your warehouse and villager system, this guide is made for you. Let's start by locating these resources on our main citadel menu. At the top of your screen here, you can see the four main resources of the game: wood, food, stone and gold. Next to them on the right are your empire coins, the premium currency of the game, but we won't be talking about them in this video. Let us click on one of our resources, let's say wood for example, to get into our warehouse menu where we can see everything related to our main resources. At the top of the menu here, you can see our resources are divided in three different parts: warehouse protected resources, or resources that your enemy cannot take from you if they decide to attack your city. The warehouse is one of the buildings you can upgrade in your city, and it will protect a certain number of unprotected resources depending on its level from 1 to 30. The more you upgrade it, the more unprotected resources it will preserve from looters. Here you can see that out of the 331 million of wood I have in my inventory, 2.68 million are protected in my city. Safe resources or resources must be obtained through bundles in the store, and they act as if they were being protected by the warehouse. They cannot be pillaged. Finally, out of the 331 million wood I have in my city, 223 million remain unprotected because I have too many resources for my warehouse to protect everything. If you're in a dangerous area full of players looking to loot your resources, you might want to check this tab to ensure your resources are safe. Below these values are a number of resource chests I have in my inventory that I can use at any time to gain the number of resources written on them. These chests cannot be pillaged, and they can either contain safe resources marked by this icon, as well as unprotected resources, so be careful when choosing to use many of these. If I choose to open many 50k wood chests for instance, you will see these resources be added to both my total wood value as well as my unprotected wood value. Of course, this menu is the same for food, stone and gold, which you can select separately on the left here. If you now click on Production Details, you will be able to see the number of resources your city produces passively hourly through your production buildings under the line Buildings, and the number of bonus resources gained thanks to your villagers below that. The line Over refers to passive production boost given by your alliance buildings. You can also see the number of resources you are gathering hourly thanks to your armies on the world map. Let me show you real quick how this works while on the world map. This spot right here shows that one of my army built a gathering workshop on one of the resource tiles we mentioned in our previous episode and has started collecting resources, gold in this case. To send an army to gather, click on this magnifying glass here and select food for instance, and level 6 to search for this particular tile. Hit search and click on gather to send your army to this farm where they will build a workshop and start collecting your precious resources. These resources will be unprotected unless your warehouse limit is unreached. You can also gain resources by actively participating in events, both as a solo player and with your alliance. You also gain resources passively by building production buildings such as lumber camps, mills and farms, gold mines, and quarries. You can get up to 4 of each buildings, the only exception being farms, since you can have up to 16, 4 per mill. These buildings will passively produce resources at all times, and you can claim them by clicking on these small resource icons. Resources are the fuel of your city, and you will need them for everything: upgrading buildings, researching new technologies in your university, training soldiers, etc. That's why it's very important to know how to get resources and how to track your available resources. For that, you can also go to your inventory here, and then select this icon on the top left. You will get into another resource tab where you will be able to see how many total resources you have when you include every resource chest in your inventory. This includes the number of safe resources in green, and to know how many unprotected resources you have, simply subtract your total resources by your safe ones. Custom resource chests are chests that you can convert into any of the 4 available resources, so they are quite useful. This tab is extremely helpful, and I suggest that you often keep an eye on it, as it lets you see very clearly how many resources you can get in total thanks to all the chests stored in your inventory. Now that you're all set about resources, let's talk about villagers. Villagers are obtained by building houses, up to 4, and upgrading them. To enter the villager management menu, select the icon at the top left, which also shows the number of villagers you have. In here you will see how many villagers you have in total, how many of them are working and how many of them are idle. Just like any other Age of Empires, you don't want to have any idle villagers, so put them to work. To do so, look at the regular assignment tab. In here you can assign villagers by clicking on the plus or minus icon. For instance, villager assigned to the hospital will increase its passive healing speed. Villagers assigned to your farms will increase their hourly good production, and so on. The more villagers you have working at the same place, the more the bonuses will be increased. When you start the game, you will only be able to assign villagers to your production buildings, mills, farms, lumber camps, gold mines and quarries, which leads us to the other important part of the villager system, the Code of Villagers. Click on Code of Villagers at the top right corner to enter its menu. Here you will be able to unlock new buffs for your buildings by allowing villagers to be assigned to them. For instance, to unlock medical assistance, which will allow you to assign villagers to your hospital, you will need to have 115 villagers in your city, as well as a level 22 hospital. To unlock Warehouse Keeper, which will allow you to assign villagers to your warehouse to protect more goods, you will need a level 14 warehouse and 65 villagers in your city in total. There are a total of 9 achievements like these two, where you will unlock the possibility to assign villagers to more buildings. You will also be able to unlock 5 achievements which will unlock 5 active skills. For instance, Temporary Rest is a 2-day cooldown skill that will refill 50 stamina instantly to your stamina bar. All you need to do to unlock it is to defeat 100 tribes. Let's go back to our villager menu and see how to activate it. Select Limited Time Assignment, where you will be able to access all of your active villager skills. Each of them requires a certain amount of idle villagers to be activated. Medical Security will reduce the current healing queue by 5 hours. Task Mobilization will reduce the current building queues by 2 hours. Excess Gathering will give resources equivalent to 12 hours of passive city production. Temporary Rest will give you 50 stamina, and Fishing Calendar will increase the number of fishing points you get. Use these skills whenever you can, as they will help you get resources or save a good amount of time when you had everything up. That's the end of this 3rd episode, so don't forget to keep your villagers working. If this guide helped you out, you can leave a like and subscribe to the channel. As always, feel free to ask any questions in the comments below, and if you'd like to try Age of Empires Mobile, you can use my download link in the description. See you soon for the next First Steps episode. Bye everyone.